Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for remaining with us. My name is Anthony, and I'm still taking you through financial markets. You can join us via our social media platforms and leave a question, a comment on the data we are sharing here, what you think about the show, and what you think you should actually learn more about. But right about now, I would like to remind you about OTEX East Africa. Now, OTEX East Africa, any other exchange, is an exchange that, of course, has been licensed by Capital Markets Authority and has been carrying out transactions. And with OTEX Clearing, they have been able to have an initiative which has been known as ZABU. ZABU is a Uganda word to mean gold. And they are in conjunction with OTEX Africa and OTEX Clearing have come up with a means of accessing securities or instruments via your phone. You can now access treasury bonds and bills in particular, starting at exactly 8:15 a.m. up to 3:15 p.m. Under this initiative, ZABU, they are saying you can dial *292# and then follow the prompts. You'll be, of course, asked which instruments you're interested in, maybe bonds, maybe bills. And when you dial *292# using your MTN, you'll be able to also learn more about the products. But you will access these bonds and instruments like bills for several years, maybe 0 to 3 years, 4 to 6 years, 7 to 10 years, 11 to 15 years, and up to 20 years. And then you will be able to buy them using your mobile money by putting your PIN, the amount of money you want to invest, and inputting your PIN number, your PIN code, for your MTN line. You will be able to purchase, and they'll send you a notification on your phone saying that you've been able to purchase. They want a more money and no hassle way of transacting and accessibility to the stock markets. Of course, that is OTEX East Africa, our partners here as well on the show. As I told you, the markets are emerging, the markets are growing, and there are so many innovations that are coming up, not just from OTEX, but from stockbrokers, from the exchange itself. There are so many innovations that are coming up because they are realizing that we are still lagging behind compared to the rest of the world in as far as investing in financial markets is concerned. You look at our neighbors here in Kenya, their exchange started a little earlier than ours, not a little, actually way earlier than ours, 1954. That is when we had the Nairobi Securities Exchange. And it was an exchange, by the way, not just tailored to Nairobi, but for all the East African nations. And since then, they've been able to get 65 companies to list on the exchange. It's the most and largest, the most active and the largest exchange in East Africa, followed only by Dar es Salaam and then the Uganda Securities Exchange. It offers several products, derivatives. It has several other products and innovations that they have come up with. Growth enterprise segment, where they're looking at the small and medium enterprises also listing on the exchange, and several other very good trading facilities that help a market to grow. So these innovations are coming as a result of the realization by the government, by the key players in the sector, that we actually need to think outside the box. How can we get investors on board? How can we get companies on board, companies to be able to list? And these innovations and more will come your way, and we will be keeping you updated, of course, on any new comings from the sector and giving you updates on what it takes exactly to be part of these. But for now, let's get into the stock markets here. Now, yesterday, we ended the day with only about 7 USE securities, USE listed equities participating in trading, which is a high, I think one of the highest number of securities companies trading on a single day that we have seen. And we ended the day with 6 gainers and 6 losers The gainers were led by Nation Media Group. Nation Media Group is a cross-listed company from Kenya, a media house, particularly and of course because we have Nation Media Group around East Africa. You have Nation Media Group subsidiaries here in Uganda, in Tanzania, and the like. It came out on top with a 3.67% gain at the closing prices yesterday, and closed the market with a price of 643.85 Ugandan shillings. Stanbic Bank Uganda came out in the second position. After losing several days, Stanbic Bank picked up fight and gained by 2.48% as per yesterday's closing prices. And if you look at these percentages, we are looking at percentages within the limits of 15%, because as experts have shared, the rules are you will not sell or buy outside the 15% of the closing or opening prices. That's why when you look at the pricings on the market, you don't see them shifting over 15%, except for particular reasons the exchange could decide to have an open price day market, where they say, you know what, you can trade at any price you feel like. And these are under very unusual circumstances, when probably the counter is not trading, and it's been a long time since the last trading was done on this counter. And so the exchange opens up that day for trading to allow investors to buy and sell at any price. And that is what we saw when we looked at British American tobacco early this year. Beginning with a price of 30,000 shillings, British American tobacco fell by 50% of their price valuation on just about a single day or about 2 days, because the counter wasn't trading that much, and the exchange opened it up for trading to let the investors, have a say. What price do you want this particular stock to be at? And so the investors probably moved the price to 15,000. That's what they felt was the most appropriate price for that day. But as we can see, the percentages here are within the limits, and this is data courtesy of the Uganda Securities Exchange. The third gainer was MTN Uganda. MTN Uganda has been one of the companies that has very much activity on the market, and we can see her gaining at 1.33%. From 185 shillings yesterday's but to a price of 187.46 Ugandan shillings per price, ending yesterday. Another new person on the gainers list has been Cipla Quality Chemical Industries Limited, CQCIL. Those are ticker symbols, but I'm trying to kind of break them down for all of us to quite understand what's going on here. Cipla Quality Chemicals gained from 70 cents to 70.83 Ugandan shillings. That's by about 1.18% gain on a daily. These are daily gains we are calculating here. The other counter that gained was Kenya Airways, and Kenya Airways gained at 124.86, and that was a 0.26% gain there for Kenya Airways. And Jubilee Holdings Limited gained by 0.26% as well, to close at 8,109.25. And those are the top gainers there for you. We can see among these we have a very good balance. 3 domestic equities, that is Stanbic, MTN, Cipla, and then 3 cross listings, NMG, Kenya Airways, and Jubilee Holdings. This is the kind of picture we always want to see. We want to see a balance within the cross listings, within the local companies. We want to see some gainers, we want to see some losers, because all these provide opportunity, and they are what drive growth of the markets. Now, on the losing side, we had still several losers on the market, and these losers were 6 in number. KCB Bank came in the last position after their end of day price depreciation of about 2.42%. KCB Bank lost by 2.42% and ended the day with a price of 1,305.63 Ugandan shillings. And it was followed by Centum Investment on the losing side at 0.82%, closing the day with a price of 300.57. And then East African Breweries Limited also lost by 0.38%. East African Breweries lost by 0.38%, closing the day with a price of 5,028.55. Equity Bank Limited closed the day with a price of 1,555.02 and lost by 0.37% of its market price valuation there. DFCU Bank at 547 shillings closing price, lost by about 0.18%. While Wumeme Limited closing at 190 and 0.09% loss. Those are the losers there. Now, when we look at the volumes, Stanbic Bank Uganda, which was a gainer, traded the highest volume, and that was of over 692,800 shares that were traded yesterday, while MTN Uganda traded about 500,850 shares, and Wumeme traded 23,700 shares, and Uganda Clays traded 14,500. Now, after this performance, we always want to look at the all share index first, because the all share index gives us the whole picture as a summary, how the markets actually could have been able to play out yesterday. Now, the all share index, which is the benchmark index of the Uganda Securities Exchange, went down regardless of the 6 gainers and 6 losers. We're seeing that the index went down by 2.59 points, and that was a 0.2% daily loss. And you see that the points to close at 1,300.49 points. And representing a 1 week gain, we are looking at on the gaining side, we are still on the gaining side with the all share index, 1 week gain of 3.78%. and a 4-week gain of 7.87%. But we're seeing still an overall year-to-date loss of 8.46%. So at least in terms of the all-share index, as you can see on the graph, we're trying to come back up. Really, we are trying to see that the counters are still struggling, but at least we're seeing some activity, some gaining here and there, and these are driving the all-share index. At least we're still in weekly gain. We're still in the 4-week gain still, but just the daily loss yesterday and an overall year-to-date loss still being registered on this counter. Here, because Cipla Quality Chemicals has been stagnant for some time at the price of 70. If you remember, Cipla traded at around 88 cents some time back, about 2-3 months ago. They came down to around 80, then they came down to 72, then down to 70. And right now we're seeing them coming back up again. And this is exactly what I warned you about. You don't always think that when stocks are going down, the company is going down with them. When stocks are going down, it is just an indicator that, hey, it is time to invest in this stock, because you don't know what could happen tomorrow. And the best time to buy is when they're going down. It's not the best time to sell, like most people think. Cipla Quality Chemicals, when we look at Cipla, it's not a very old counter on the market. We're seeing that in 2018, and that was on the 17th of September, just well about 4 years ago, exactly about 4 years ago. Cipla Quality Chemicals Industries is traded on the Uganda Securities Exchange under the ticker symbol CQCIL. And the international securities identification number for the company, because this is a number like you have a national identification number, this securities international securities identification number gives identity to the company. Now, for CIPLA, their number is UG0000196. And currently, CIPLA is the 11th most valuable stock on the stock market. And with a total market capitalization of over 259 billion Ugandan shillings, it is at 1.16% of the total equity of the Uganda Securities Exchange, which is close, well, a little above 22 trillion Ugandan shillings. And CIPLA is only taking away 1.16% of that, putting it in the 11th position in as regards the company's value there on the market. And when you look at the graph for the performance of CIPLA Quality Chemicals, quite a stable graph. It looks not so much shaky, except when we see that in April 2022, that's when the prices came down from over 90 to around 70, where we have been seeing them currently. But you can see somehow sometime back, we see that the counter even traded at prices as high as 100 back in 2021. We see CIPLA also trading in prices, yes, as high as 100. If you see July, exactly about 1 year ago, in 2021, in July, in August, we were seeing prices as high as 99, as high as 100. So generally, the stock price has moved down from last year. And even this year, you can see that sharp decline from 90 in around May, in around the month of June, to prices as low as 70 shillings. In as regards volumes, yesterday, mentioned, we have traded 9,200 shares on the counter yesterday, and these were worth 651,600 shillings. And we see that the shares outstanding at 3.65 billion Ugandan shillings. And these shares are worth the market capitalization currently, given the price that we are seeing of 70.83 at 259 billion Ugandan shillings. The current share price of 70.83 is as a result of yesterday's gain from 70 to 70.83, which was a 1.2% gain. Now, CIPLA Quality Chemicals began the year on the 1st of January with a price of 92 Ugandan shillings. And since then, CIPLA Quality Chemicals has shed off 23% of that price of 92 down to 70. And in terms of year-to-date performance, it's ranked the 14th on the Uganda Stock Exchange. CIPLA Quality Chemicals, however, is the 7th most traded stock in terms of volumes traded per session, in terms of volumes traded within the last 3 months. And over the past 3 months, we are looking at April 27th to August 3rd, 2022. CIPLA Quality Chemicals has traded a total volume of 159,500 shares that are valued at 11.4 million Ugandan shillings over the period. And with an average of 2,532 shares traded per session, there was a volume high of 16,600, however, that was traded on the 23rd of June in the same period. And when you monitor the performance of the stock and regarding also the volumes, you see that they have quite good activity. And you see yesterday on the 3rd, they had 9,200. On the 1st, they had 500 shares traded. On the 28th of July, they had 12,600 shares. On the 25th of July, they had about 4,500 shares, and so on and so forth. So much as I cannot say that the trading is overwhelming, but at least you see some bit of activity, and that's what exactly investors are looking for, and the exchange at large. That is Cipla Quality Chemicals. They are a pharmaceutical company specialized in the manufacture of medicine. And in recent, they have been, of course, venturing into different drugs, but traditionally they are known for manufacturing HIV drugs and also anti-malaria drugs, the so-called Lumatam tablets that are very common on the market. They are recently constructing a new plant on site for manufacturing anti-cancer drugs, and very soon that plant will be unleashed in several months to come. And this will also increase the value of the company, meaning the value, the profitability of the company as well might increase, and we might see more revenue and more much better performance on the market as well. That is Cipla Quality Chemical Industries, listed since 2018, but putting up quite a good performance, moderate performance, if I can say, on the markets there. Buying at Cipla, I'm telling you, 70 cents, you can get yourself a share. So if you have 7,000 and you're going to spend that on something you don't need a lot right now, you can get that money and start, with 100 shares at Cipla. Matter of fact, 7,000 is a lot. Even 700 shillings gets you 10 shares. And these monies you may not see it as important right now, but when the stock price of Cipla goes back to 100, like we've seen, that is when you realize how important it was to invest in Cipla. Because on every share, you will have gained 30 shillings. And if you're selling, then you will be making money, a lot of money for yourself and probably your family as well. We're going to take another quick breather. We return with Stanbic Bank as well. Stanbic has also been among the top gainers, but Stanbic in the recent past also didn't have that good performance, but we're seeing him coming back and trying to be on the gaining list. And we're going to analyze his stock after the very short break.